Hi, this is Terry. I've been maintaining a 180-pound weight loss for over a year with a clean, whole foods, meat-focused, low-carb, low-calorie approach. Hey there, it's time for my weekly meal prep of my lunches and suppers. I use 7 ounces of ground beef in my lunches and suppers. What I typically do is I leave my little log of ground beef out overnight, and then come morning time, they're defrosted enough, and I can put them in here. Takes 2 of these, and this will make about 15 lunches or suppers, 15 servings. I'll just call them servings. So typically then that is enough for 1 week. A week and a day. So I just do this every weekend. The key thing for my success for losing 180 pounds has been meal prepping every weekend. I meal prep my mains and I meal prep my sides. As long as I meal prep, I have no excuses for eating off plan. So I will not season these as usual. I'm gonna make sure they're both set on low. Low. I'm gonna pop this lid on them and I forgot water, you guys. Hang on. Probably do maybe a cup of water, a cup and a half. If you do fattier meat, you do not. I don't add water. I'm gonna just finish this off. If I don't add if I do fattier meat, I don't add water. The water just kind of helps keep it from clinging to the edges, and so I just do a little bit of water. And like I said, I don't season it because in the end I'm going to use the leftover rendered fat for dog fat bombs. So, all right, every hour I'll show you. We're going to come chop it up every hour. But this is the main portion of my meal prep. So these have been on low for 1 hour now. Please remember, if you want to season your meat, go right ahead. Everybody kind of has to do what they do that works for them. And since I give the fat to my dogs, then it works out for me to not season it. And it's funny it's still frozen deep on the inside. So just be careful whenever you're going through and chopping it up. I find that whenever I really scrape the edges really hard, that's whenever I tear the plastic container. And for those who are concerned, this is a Reynolds crock pot liner. Now, I know some of you are still going to yell at me, but I understand. We all have our hang-ups. Some people's hang-up is plastic. Some people's hang-up is soda. Some people's hang-up is sugar. We all have our hang-ups. Feel free to share them in the comments of this video. I am interested, and I love to hear your comments about what your hang-ups are. Whether it's plastic, whether it's whatever it is, feel free to share with me your thoughts and feelings on what your hang-ups are. So like I said, it's been an hour. We're going to come in another hour and do this again. Okay, it's been 2 hours. I did have someone tell me in the last video, well, the crock pot isn't designed to be open and closed every hour like that. That's very true. It is not designed to be used this way. I am letting the heat out every hour, but it still gets cooked. So that's all I care about, is I get what I need. And these things last a long time. So every hour I still come in and I chop it up. I think I'm blocking your view. I apologize. I'll show you better on the other one. Give me just a second. Now let's get in here real close so you can see. I just come in, and this is just a potato masher. I don't really know. I got it years ago. They have them on Amazon for $8, $9. I don't know what brand mine is, but if you just search meat chopper or potato chopper, not chopper, masher, probably meat masher, potato masher, you'll see all kinds of these. So you could say, so you just search whichever one and read your reviews and pick out whichever one you want. But this thing is life, and I love it. But I chop it up because I'm trying to mix up the already cooked with the uncooked. And so, like I said, it's been 2 hours. So I'll come back in another hour. Sometimes it cooks 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours. It just varies. So, all right, we'll be back in 1 hour. It's been another 1 hour. It does not look like it's done. See, I don't mind my ground beef to be pink, but this is still gummy. There's a difference in pink and gummy, and this is still gummy. So let me pause so I can hopefully zoom in. See how that right there is gummy? There's a difference in that, in that right there, and maybe this out here. It's just, this is gummy, and I don't want gummy. I want cooked. So, so we're gonna set the timer for 1 more hour. And like I said, sometimes this will take 1 hour, 3 hours. Sometimes it'll take 4 hours. Sometimes 3.5. I never really know why, because these are the same crock pots I use every time. So, but sometimes I get it done in 3 hours. And sometimes I get it done in 4. But anyway, so get these done here, and I will be back in another 1 hour. Okay, it's been 1 more hour. And yeah, there's like just a little bit of pink in the middle, but that's just in the middle of beef, in the middle of it. Hey, so for the record, we are just crock potting our beef. We're just boiling our beef, and it's okay. I think that's, in fancy terms, that's called braised. So we're making braised ground beef. But anyway, so that's the texture I like. I'm going to get it into, I'm going to strain out the liquid, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm going to try to do this and not make a total mess or break my crock pot. I broke one this morning. I'm going to set this in here. I like to get my juices out before I portion it out. It allows me a little more control over my portions. It allows me to know what my portions really are, because I want to know the ounces of meat, not the ounces of liquid, not the ounces of water, not the ounces of fat. So after I get this, hang on, I'm going to put a fresh liner back in my crock pot to keep it from getting dirty. And then I'm going to pour the beef back into this spot. There we go. Like I said, this just gives me a little more control. And I spilled some, so I need to clean that up, and then we're going to do the same thing with this into there, so hang on. I'm mildly concerned that this is going to overflow. I'm going to do it anyway. So, good. It's always good when I know I did not break the bag. It always makes for a good day. I'm going to do this and try to watch. If it comes up too high on the side, I'll have to yank it up. And it's going to be close. Is it going to spill? I don't think it's going to spill. You definitely want an apron on when you're doing this job. So I'll just kind of hold it here and let some of that excess liquid let this water and rendered fat strain out. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and dump it in here. And there you go. Now give me a minute to kind of clean up my station here. I gotta clean it up. Hold on. One thing I can promise, if you are cooking your meat and you have a four-legged audience, they will be around. They will be around offering up their services for anything that might have dropped on the floor. So just be aware if you have little helpers like I do. From here, I'm going to set this on a pot holder in the refrigerator, so that way I can let the fat and the water separate from each other. When it comes to the ground beef, I've had multiple suggestions. In the past, I've always used my plastic containers. I've had some people suggest to use Ziploc bags. So I think I'm going to try the Ziploc bag method this time. But for now, I need to just let this cool off. Because, I don't want to put... I will definitely put hot things in these plastic containers. Right or wrong, I'm willing to put hot in these. But oddly enough, I am not willing to put hot meat in a Ziploc bag. Especially not freshly hot meat in a Ziploc bag. I'm just not. So at this stage, you could salt and pepper it. You could season it. If you want to, like if I wanted to go on and salt and pepper this, I could. Then I would not have to salt and pepper it. Well, I'd probably still salt it. But anyway, you could season this up. I prefer to leave mine plain, so then whatever I'm in the mood for that day, I can season it up based on what I'm having. And the way I use this, you see all these seasonings. Hang on. I have all those seasonings there and all those seasonings there and seasonings there. Those are tea. That seasoning's in there too. All these seasonings, and I even have some over here on my refrigerator. I have seasonings right along there and there. So that is how I handle my meat. Let's just say I want something barbecuey. I've got some barbecuey and Creole seasonings. I want just salt and pepper. I got those up there. I want something like Italian. I have those down there. If I want something like Southwestern, I have some Southwestern seasonings here, some tahini, some crushed red peppers. I have some Indian seasonings that some of you all have mentioned before. A couple of them are ones that I've made up. A Moroccan, one that I bought is za'atar. I've got peppercorn, poppy seeds, different seeds. Back here I have seasonal things, which I don't really use on my beef, but it's like ground cinnamon, pumpkin pie, allspice, things like that. And down here just random things like dill weed, mint, cardamom, bay leaves. So I have all kinds of seasonings. These are more like already pre-mixed up seasonings that I've bought and that people have sent me. Well, this is guacamole and more. That's a mixture. I got basil. This is a mixture of spices, some garlic clovers, Old Basin seasoning that my mama brought me. Because my mama buys me some when she goes places. Harissa. So I just and then these different Flavor God seasonings that were sent to me. Thank you to Oh, you know I gotta look it up because I can't remember yesterday. Ethel. Thank you to Ethel. And thank you to everybody who sends me these seasonings. Oh, and I got a new one over here. The Spice Age Bravo Avo. It's a guacamole dip seasoning. So that's how I change up my meat. People will say, well, what do you do? Well, okay. I may use some Italian seasoning with Italian cheese. I may use some Southwestern seasoning with some kind of a Mexican blend cheese. And this is if I'm doing carnivore. I may do some Indian seasonings with, I don't know, some kind of goat cheese. Or just some, garlic salt and onion salt and have like a burger flavor, dill, so you can use it. If you can imagine it, you can make it. So now that I'm no longer carnivore, I add the Jihu sauces and different sauces to help flavor my meat and make it into whatever mood I'm in. So if I ketchup, whatever. So I use this meat. I'm going to put it in 7-ounce servings when it cools down. And then I'm just going to use this meat. I'll pull it out and microwave it and have it with my lunch and supper. So this right here, I'll do in 7-ounce servings, and that's going to be my lunch and suppers. So let me show you what I'm doing here. This cup, mostly full, is about 7 ounces. So I'm going this route. I'm taking my cup. I pulled the ground beef bag out of the crock pot. I'm setting it on there. That's not quite 7. That's a little over 7, so I'll shake a little out. 6.9, that's close enough. And then I'm putting it in here. So that's how I'm doing them. And I'm going to keep going. I'll show you a couple more. See what that is. 7.3. That's not terrible. But I'd rather it be 7. So maybe if I can 0.2. There we go. All right. So anyway, so I'm going to keep stacking these up and I'll show you when I'm done. Hey, as I'm finishing this up, I just want to let you all know, if you're new to my channel and you don't spend much time in the comment section, you really should check out my comment section. Whenever you watch my videos, really look at my comment section. There's so many people, not me, so many people who follow me who have these really, really great ideas. And so many of the things that you see me doing are things that somebody along the way has told me to do. Like doing this ground beef in a Ziploc bags right now, that was somebody else. When I make my salads and put a paper towel over them, that was somebody else. And all of those things come from my comment section. So if you're new to my channel or you're a new subscriber, or even if you're just following along to see what's going on, seriously, go through some of the comments in my videos. You will be amazed at how many gold nuggets there are. It's a wealth of information there. So many people with such lived experiences and things that they've learned along the way and that they're kind enough to share with each other. So anyway, yeah, I think I got a couple more of these, but check out my comment section for real. Okay, I've got them all done. So what I'm doing is I'm rolling it to get all the air out, squeezing it, and flattening it down. So that way they can kind of stack on top of each other. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I told you every time, sometimes I have 15, sometimes I have 14, I never know. So 15 of these. I'm going to stack them like this, and then I'm going to freeze them, and then I will, oh, hey, look over here, 16. Ah, look at me. I'm so funny sometimes. So I have 16 of them. So there we go. I have 8 days worth of lunch and supper right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in the freezer, and I'll show y'all what I do with the leftover broth and fat from cooking these up. Something else that's kind of new to my rotation is I make burgers for my breakfast. For a while I was eating eggs, which is good, but I found that burgers keep me full longer. I just like how I feel when I have burgers for breakfast. So I'm going to get these two. I have them lined once, but I always line these twice. I want backup lining in case I flip something too hard and it pokes a hole in my foil. So I'm going to go ahead and line these and preheat my oven to 400. After I get these lined, usually I buy the frozen burger patties, but I got a yellow sticker sale. This is the 93% ground beef. And I probably should have kept them frozen instead of defrosting these, but that's all right. So now I'm just going to line these burger patties, and we're going to bake these. I'm just going to have to make sure I watch them and check the time more frequently than when I did when they're frozen. Because when they're frozen, I know it takes 30 minutes and I think 30 minutes and 10 minutes. But defrosted, I'm going to have to check them after 10 minutes just to make sure there's no problems. So I don't want them, definitely don't want them to burn. So I'm going to get these lined up in here, and I will get back when they're all in, when I get it done. Okay, we're going to put these in the oven. And we're going to check back we'll check back in 10 minutes. It's been 10 minutes. Let's take them out and have a look-see. See what we think. Can't even tell a thing. All right. 10 more minutes. And then we'll be back. Now I'm seeing some results. It's been 20 minutes. Yeah, I gotta remember, this was the bottom tray, y'all. Don't let me forget, bottom and top. So now this one needs to go in the bottom. So I'm going to flip this one first. I'll get all these flipped. And then we'll put it back in. Probably only need to go for about 10 minutes more. Might even be able to stop now, but I'm going to get these flipped and I'll be back. Okay, so this is going back on the bottom shelf. Thankfully I can tell these are more raw because they're dark pink. I flipped them both, and there we go. And I have the timer set for 10 more minutes, and we'll be back. Don't worry, the pit crew is here in case there's any issues. All 4 of them. They're all here in case something falls to the ground. Timer's done. I'm going to pull them out. And what I've learned is to just let them sit and reabsorb the juice. It helps them not be so dry. So I just let them sit there 15, 20, 30 minutes. Whenever you get a chance to come back. Plus it lets them cool down. So yeah, I'm just going to let them sit and cool off and reabsorb the juices. Alright. So they've been sitting probably about 20 minutes. I'm going to break some of them in half. I think I break 8 of them in half. 3, 4, 5, 6. because it makes 16 servings. I think I break 8 in half. Alright, so now I'm going to take one glove off because this is the hand that's going to handle the plastic bags. And I put 1.5 burgers in every bag. Now these are cool enough for me to touch, so they're not going to melt the plastic or anything weird like that. So if I can just get these in here. Now I'm going to go on and get all these together, and then I'll be right back. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, but last time I put all this liquid and the chunks of ground beef left over, I put in a skillet and I made it into like a creamy, milky gravy. I don't know if I'm going to do it this time. If I do, I'm not going to record it because you can go back and see my last video when I did that. But so I'm going to move this off to the side. But just know that all this leftover juices, you can make a really good gravy out of this. Okay, so I got these ready, and now I'm just going to close them all up. And last time I used a different baggie, and I forgot about them, so I wish I would have used them again, but that's all right. So I make these every weekend, so I can use them next time. The good thing about baggies is that they don't expire. So all the burgers have cooled down enough. So there we go, and this will be 16 breakfasts. So now I have enough lunch and suppers for 8 days, and I have enough breakfasts for 16 days. So I usually use the frozen burgers, but this time I had these. So there you go. That's my meal prep this week. And I have family coming into town next weekend, or this weekend whenever I post this video. Family's coming on Friday before Thanksgiving. And so we're going to be together on Saturday and Sunday and Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then, because my work is closed Monday, and I go back to work on, well, I took off Tuesday and Wednesday, and I'll be back to work on Thursday. So, all right, there's my breakfast for the next 16 days. There we go. 8, 8, and 16. So 8 days worth of lunch and supper and 16 days of breakfast. Hey, good morning. I'm going to show you all how I separate the fat from the broth. I actually, this one is what I pulled off of the burgers. I used some of it to cook some vegetables with yesterday, but keep this knife handy. But I just kind of, I put in a glass bowl, and boy, that separated real easy. So I'll just kind of wipe off some of that, shake off all that little of that extra broth. I'm going to just lay it right in there. So then this is just some great beef broth. There's actually some beef chunks down in there. Slide this over here. This one's a little different. It's not always quite as easy. I just give a few pushes, and I try to be careful so it doesn't just like push in, and then all of a sudden, wham, bam, I got broth all over me. So I kind of loosen the edges a little bit by whatever means necessary. Hack it up, boy. That's Lou over there. He's got something. He's trying to hack up. All right, I think I got it. So now, and by being in a rounded bowl, it actually is easier. So that's the gelatin. I'm just going to kind of flip that back down in there. Actually, I'll put it over in this bowl for now. And I'm just shaving it off the edges. So let's see. I saw some more crack. Sometimes I get it in one piece. If it's more fat, then I can get it off in one piece for sure. But this was the leaner beef. It's trying. It's trying, guys. It's trying. looking good. No, buddy. No. No, this isn't for you. Well, it is for you, but not till later. Yeah. Just shave off. Whoa. Shave off the excess broth. And there you go. Put it in there. Now, whatever you choose to do with this broth, you can make soups, you can drink it. So many people like to drink it, like on a cold day or when they don't feel good. The one that came from the ground beef tends to be a little more gelatinous. I added extra water to this one, which is the one from the burger. See that on the bottom? I added extra water to it. Just so I could get when I did not have extra water in it, the ground beef was up mingling with the fat. You can see the difference. Hang on, let me flip the piece over. See the difference in this fat and this fat? This one right here is pitted, and so it has some more fat, some meaty chunks in it. This one is more pure. So I put water to separate the two and this one. So this one has excess water, which is why at the bottom you can see all those ground beef bits. And this one, there's not much ground beef bits. So anyway, now I'm going to put this in the oven. It doesn't matter what temperature, just enough to melt the fat, so then we can make fat bombs. So this gelatinous beef broth, I'm going to put into this Ziploc bag because it'll be easier for me to fill into here. I could almost use gloves. But anyway, I'm going to put it into here, into this Ziploc bag, and then I'll be able to toss it into the freezer. And I've got it labeled already. And then we're going to do something with the other one. I just like y'all to see how I do this from start to finish. I know sometimes I do just the middle part, and I don't necessarily do the follow-up with the fat and broth. But I figure I'll show you this time. Go. So now I'm just going to get out that extra water. In the past, I've put this in, in screw-on lid containers. But man, just having it in here to freeze out flat like this, that's going to take so much less space. So I'm going to lay this in my freezer and let it freeze. And this way I don't have to worry about coming back later because a glass jar, the lid will pop off. And, when you put the glass in the freezer, you have to wait till it freezes, and sometimes it explodes. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to set this in the freezer. This one I probably am going to put in a container, but probably not a glass one. I'll probably put it in some of these. So I'll show you that when it's done. Okay, so I have this right here, and I poured it into two. I tried to divide the bits of beef as best as I could between the two. This one has a little bit more, but that's fine. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop these in the freezer, and when they're frozen, I'll pop them into this bag. So both of them will fit into here. So this way I've got the date and everything. So that's my plan. So I'll put this away and I'll show you the fat next. When this is in, you're going to hear it sizzling because there is some water mixed in with it and a few little bits in the bottom. But I'm just going to let it sit here. And I'm actually going to let it come to room temperature. I have to go to church, and I have to go to my mama's house. So by this evening, it's already trying to set up, and I literally just pulled it out of the refrigerator. You can see it's trying to congeal. The fat is. So I'm just kind of mixing up some of that stuff that's on the bottom there a little bit. So like I said, just be careful when you pull this out, because if you spill that, that will cling to you and make a very, very serious burn. So I'm just going to let this sit out, and we will use it this afternoon when I get home from all the things that I have to do. I'll scoot it way back, and anyway, so we'll come back whenever that hardens. So let's finish up making our dog fat bombs. I've got me a pancake turner here. I'm just going to push it in and slide it on down. These were on the counter. They will get a little harder if you put them in the refrigerator, which is how I usually do freezer. But anyway, so now I'm just going to mark them. Like I said, you can use your fat for any way you want to. Now you can cook with it. You can add it back to your ground beef. You know, you can put it with your steaks. You can put it in veggies. Heck, you could even go, You could even, see that? You go, You can even lick it right off the thing. However you like to use them. So let's see if we can get some of them out. And they're a little soft, you guys. But dogs don't mind it if they're a little soft right now. So yeah, they're going to work. All right. So yeah, so I'm going to finish putting these in, and then I'll pop them in the freezer. And this is how they look. This is how they look when they're frozen and all done. So you can use this for whatever you want to. So that's how I make my fat bombs after I've cooked up all my ground meat. So, okay, bye.